Great. Thank you very much, everyone, for waiting. So my name is Jasim, and I'm thrilled to have you join in for this webinar on graphic design and web development today. Before we begin, some practical information that this session is going to be recorded for the purpose of sharing it with with all of you later. And at the end of this webinar, you will have the opportunity to ask your questions on Q&A function, and we'll try to answer all of them one by one. So please do ask them at Q&A function once again. Um, bef- and let's now jump into this topic. We understand that in today's digital world, the ability to combine creative skills with technical web development expertise is highly sought after. The program is crafted to prepare you for a dynamic career at the intersection of technology and creativity. I'm excited to introduce Martin Lind, the Program Director for Graphic Design and Web Development. Martin is here to share his insights and answer key questions about the program. Before we jump in, Martin, please give a short brief about yourself.
Okay, so hello, I'm Martin Lind, the program director, and I would say one of the main lecturers within graphic design. So my own background is in graphic design. I've worked as an art director both in the ad agency industry and also in the web agency industry before I started as a teacher and a lecturer. Um, yeah, so I think that's
Yeah, good.
a good
So
presentation.
I've prepared some questions which are usually quite common questions which I usually get when I'm traveling or meeting students all around the world. So the first question, which is, Jönköping University is known for its innovative approach and strong ties with the industry. Martin, can you tell us what sets the bachelor's in graphic design and web development apart and why it's becoming a top choice for students worldwide?
Yeah, I would say we have a couple of things that makes us a bit unique. Um, the program has quite a long heritage. It goes back to when we were even more practical, a shorter education for 2 years, aimed directly to the industry. And someone came up with this idea that what if we join graphic design and web development? And web development was at that time uh, not as complicated. I think that's a good way to put it. It was a little bit easier, but people working with these trades were often found at the same workplaces. And this combination turned out to be quite successful. A lot of people wanted to do it. So eventually, we wanted to develop and make it into a proper three-year bachelor's degree. And so that was about 8 years ago. And so I would say the combination in itself is quite unique to do those two things in one program because they are, to a certain extent, a little bit different from each other. But also, time has caught up with us a little bit, and in recent years, the concept of designing user experiences and designing user interfaces is much more talked about, and that is sort of what we already did. So I would say that if we could add one more thing in the name for the program, that would be user experience design or user interface design, because that is where it sort of intersects. So that combination is quite unique. It's also unique that we do it within an informatics setting connected to computer science.
Yeah.
So we are quite technology oriented, even though we have do a lot of aesthetics and design as well. And finally, we are also 100% international. We teach everything in English, and we have students from all over the world, and that makes us actually quite unique in Europe even. So there's a
Interesting.
couple of
Uh,
things.
and I really like the idea about UX design because I know that we also have a master's in that, and I know that a lot of our students who do this education, they usually think of doing that master's with us as well. So that is a good positive plus.
Yeah.
So, My next question is the field of graphic design and web development is highly practical, like you already mentioned. Could you share how the program incorporates hands-on projects and real-world experiences to prepare students for their careers?
Yeah, as I said, our history and our heritage is quite practical. So I would say we have that in the DNA of the program. That's where we started out. So if we look at the first year of the program, you get quite a lot of foundational courses in graphic design and especially front end web development, where we code the things you see on a web page. And those are highly practical. We try to actually build real web pages. We do real design, even some print design in the
Mhm.
beginning. Going forward in year two, we have more people from the industry coming in and doing guest lectures and also doing projects together with the students. We have internship the second year as well, where you go out for 8 weeks at a company and often work with their projects and so on. And so we do a lot of practical work. With that said, we of course also have a theoretical streak, especially connecting to the concepts of user experience design, and
Mhm.
so that we work with within the academic umbrella of human computer interaction. That is where you would find us academically, and so there's a lot of things that you can study there to learn how people behave when they use computers. But we still have a very strong practical foundation.
Um, Quite interesting. Thanks very much. The School of Engineering at Jönköping University emphasizes strong collaboration with the business community. How does this collaboration benefit students in graphic design and web development program?
We have so all programs at School of Engineering has an industry advisory board. So with people from good companies and agencies
Mhm.
around in the Jönköping area, who keeps us up to date, who we can have discussions with about everything from trends that's happening. At the moment, we talk a lot about how we should tackle the concept of AI in creativity, and what software we should work with and stuff like that. Um, so that's one thing that we do a lot. Some of those companies also are part as guest lecturers and consultant lecturers during the program. We have special events during the 3 year you do the program where you meet companies and you can talk with them. And quite often you also can do your final work, your final thesis together with companies and contacts, and of course the internship. So we work quite close with the industry, I would say.
Excellent. I know that the digital landscape is evolving rapidly. How does the program keep up to date with the latest trends and technologies in graphic design and web development?
We have I mean, besides the industry board that gives us a lot of insight in what techniques we should work with and so on. We also have, I mean, it's all you can't fit everything into a 3 year program. So you have to pick and choose a little bit. And we already have sort of three areas where we try to cover enough for you to be able to work in the industry. But then we also try to add things that are could be considered a little bit extra. We do a lot of motion graphics. We sometimes dip our toes into augmented reality, and often we try these, let's call them more esoteric courses, out as electables. During the third year, you have the possibility to pick a couple of courses that you can add to the program that are electables. And there we often try out new techniques. We also have a course in year three called Visual Lab, and the sole purpose of that course is just to try out new technique. So the content in it changes every year, so that when the students go out, they have tried the latest tools and softwares. So we try to keep up to date.
My follow-up question is on sustainability, which is becoming a key consideration in digital design. Can you share an example of how the program integrates concept of green design and sustainability? Now students are encouraged to create environmentally responsible solution.
Yes. So the one thing we try to do is to make people aware about doing smart solutions in web design, solutions that makes it. I think the best thing to focus on when it comes to green sustainability is to make people keep their devices a little bit longer. That's the main thing we can bring to the table. If we can develop things and people can keep their phone for one more year, that's I think is the best thing. So we try to be work with being backwards compatible. We try to um, work with efficient techniques so that you don't have to download more than you need and things like that. But I would say another thing we do connected to sustainability is that we also see sustainability as social sustainability. And we talk quite a lot about, are we designing for good now? When you design apps and web pages, there are a lot of tricks you can do to make people more addicted to them. You can do what is called dark patterns to sort of persuade people. And there's a point where you start to do things that I wouldn't consider being ethical. And that's a side of sustainability as well, to that you contribute to a better society for the people in it as well. So it's not just about nature and climate change. Sustainability can be applied to us as well. And that I think we talk a lot about during the program.
Could you share a success story of a graduate who has made significant strides in the career after completing this program with us?
Yeah, I think I thought a lot about who I should mention, or if there's like a particular. I can say when I looked at it's often in LinkedIn, you see what happens with people, and you can see that, given that we are a quite broad program, there people go in a lot of different directions. Some become traditional graphic designers. Some become web developers. Quite a lot these days becomes what I would loosely define as content creators. But one that I really like, because she started with this already in her bachelor thesis, is a German student who started to develop user interfaces for medical appliances, and that got her into very interesting questions about how to make them safe, how to make them more efficient, uh, user experience problems that you maybe don't always come across when you work with e-commerce, for instance, or something like that. And that became the thesis became very good. That's and it made her and it set her on a path to a career within UX design for medical equipment, and she has become quite successful in that niche. And I think it's because it's a niche thing, but you can also see that this kind of thing, these kinds of design is everywhere. It's not just the things that might pop up immediately in your mind, like doing reels for social media or designing Amazon, but it could also be medical equipment. So I think he's a good example.
Excellent. I know that we have a lot of programs to offer, but I know in case of this program specifically, we always outsell before the time of the closing of the application. And so it really shows that this is really a famous program between a lot of young people. And not just this, it's also quite competitive to get in. And so, do you have any comments around that?
Uh, yeah, it surely is. I mean, we try to divide when we accept people. We divide it up in different groups. Uh, Especially the Swedish group is quite insane, to be honest. We usually have about 1,000 applicants. So if you seek from abroad, you don't directly compete with them. But for us, it has never been a question about filling up the places in the program. It's more a question of how large should certain groups be to keep the dynamic and so on. So yes, and the average to get in, of course, is reflects that a little bit.
Great. My next questions are designed around ROI, especially I think parents are going to love this question.
Yeah.
I know that many parents are concerned about the return on their investment for their child's education. What kind of career services and job opportunities can students expect? And how does the program support them in achieving their career goals, for instance?
I mean, the internship is an important step towards that during the actual studies. We also have a lot of collaboration with Science Park. The good thing with our students is that they can be part of quite a lot of different projects and startups and things like that. So there's a lot of places where they can fill a role. I think sometimes people only think about traditional agencies that you work at in a consultant agency and you do work for clients, but quite often you can be employed at the actual company and do these things, not as a consultant. And I think the work we do with Science Park and the collaboration with the industry together with the internship, uh, we do as much as we can. With that said, it is a competitive field. So you are competing with a lot of people who are very good and really hungry to work with this. We have noticed that if you want to be a graphic designer today, the more tech savvy you are, the better chances you have at getting into the industry. And that's why we feel quite secure being at an engineering school where the technology is a little bit in focus. So yeah, I think
And I think that's not true for even if you're studying bachelor's business education. If you're not tech savvy, then you are maybe not so appreciated by the industry anymore.
yeah, true. It's
Great. I can just also add towards this ROI part that we also take the well-being of our students is also a priority at Jönköping University. For instance, we provide academic advising, we provide mental health support, we provide assistance, we provide guaranteed accommodation. We have those kind of services that really help towards us parents and students making the choice easier for choosing Jönköping University or the program at Jönköping University. So that's just a comment on the sidelines. Thank you. This has been an incredibly insightful discussion, Martin. For those interested in applying, what advice would you give, and why is it beneficial for them to apply early, especially if they are considering scholarships?
I think it's beneficial to establish yourself in Jönköping. That is
Yeah.
a good thing to start looking for housing and so on. The admissions, the actual admissions process, a little bit removed from us
Mm.
at the program. So that could be good for people listening here to know as well that we don't actively work with the admissions process. But it's always good to be out early because, as I said, it's a
Yeah,
popular program.
absolutely. Thank you, Martin, for sharing these valuable insights. For everyone watching, if you are ready to dive into this exciting career in graphic design and web development, I encourage you to book a consultation with me or the admissions team. The link is I can drop the link in the chat on the Zoom function. Great. So let's open the house for Q&A function session right now. Let's see. We have the first question. From what I have understood and read about the program, it is entirely face to face. Is there a possibility of being 100% online in the future?
Um, it's um, it's not in the cards right now.
Okay.
That's my best answer. It's designed as a campus program at the moment. We have certain things we do that is a little bit more online oriented, especially when it comes to teaching the software, because we have noticed that a video is a very good medium to do that, and usually students want to pause, and so we have some video tutorials, especially in software and some programming courses, but to switch it completely to online. um, I tried that for a couple of years, as I know, as we all did, and those years didn't convince me that that was the best route to go. But you never know. The door isn't closed, but it's not something we plan at the moment.
Will CTE studies and internship experiences be accounted for during application?
Um, I don't think so, to be quite honest. But I'm a little bit removed from the. I know the Swedish process better, and there it's just gymnasiet grades that counts. But I don't know if you can answer that better.
Yeah, I think yeah, and you can actually I can take admissions advice on this. So if you send this question in, so I can ask them to also help out with this. How many people usually get accepted in this program?
It has varied a little bit throughout the years. So it's not a fixed number for each year. We have had 60 students as the minimal, the smallest size, and one year we have had up to 120 students. Uh, those numbers are usually divided, so half of those goes to the Swedish market, and half are dedicated to uh, Europe and fee-paying students. So yeah.
Another question is about what kind of facilities or software does the university provide for design students?
Yeah, we have one luxury that I have thought for, and that is that we do offer the Adobe Creative Cloud software suite to all students, so they can use it both in the school and on their own computers at home.
Mm.
That also gives us the opportunity to have a lot of the software tutorials and stuff like that online and through videos and so on, because we've found out that that is one particular thing that works well in that format. We also have one uh, computer hall that is our own with Mac computers. For those who like that, a lot of in the industry works with Macintosh. So, and we also have our own little how do you media lab or a little space where we have about 20 places where people students can sit and work. We have monitors there. We have some extra computers. We have equipment for eye tracking and mouse tracking and things like that. So it's a room. That room is quite popular with the students. There's always people hanging out there and so on. And that's just our own facilities. Then, of course, all the computer labs and all the rooms for studying and so on in the rest of the university is open for our students as well. So that's just our own facilities. So
I have a very exciting question actually by Huang. and she's asking, she's more concerned if the program is focusing more on developing and operating platform businesses. So if students can learn to develop platforms and build platforms. That's what I think
Yeah,
she's
yeah. So by that, I assume she's referring to web platforms and so on.
yeah.
Our students, or if you look at the web development side of the program, it's very heavily focused on what's called front-end design, because that's the most logical thing to be good at if you're a graphic designer, is that you can also be good at programming all the things we see. So we focus mainly on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript as our main programming languages, or JavaScript is the only one of those who is a proper programming language. But um, those are pretty much platform independent. So everything you see on the internet is built with that. We don't, we can't promise a certain platform for backend because it changes a little bit depending on the programs, the projects, and so on. Um, and we are not deep when it comes to backend. Basically do it in one course, our full stack course. Um, so I cannot say a specific platform that we work with, um, because it's a little bit up to the teacher for that specific course. So front end technology is what we are mostly focused on.
If accepted, what kind of specifications should the student laptop computer for the program and lessons? So I think the student, someone is trying to ask about if they need special kind of equipment to bring in, right?
Um, Mm, we of course provide computers. We have both our, as I said, our Mac computer hall or Mac lab, and the rest of the school. With that said, most students buy their own laptop uh, quite fast. Uh, Within the graphic design industry, Apple Mac computers are very common. So a lot of people have a MacBook Pro or something like that. I know that they are expensive, but a decent Windows-based laptop will work fine as well. It's just when you start doing very large Photoshop images, or when we get into motion graphics, year two, that where you maybe have to sort of switch to one of the stationary computers at the school, because but otherwise you will actually, the first year will you will be able to do most of it on a just a reasonable, affordable laptop of any kind.
One student is asking, how good is this program as a means to get into cybersecurity?
Not good at all, because we have a cybersecurity bachelor that I would recommend instead. It's in Swedish though.
Yeah.
So it would not be a good fit. We have an excellent cybersecurity bachelor and masters, but unfortunately in Swedish. So
Um, so someone is asking about the university offers any help with accommodation. Yes, certainly we do. It's a guaranteed accommodation we offer. So please send us an email. We will help you out. And once you're admitted, you will also receive all of the information from us. And we also do webinars, and you also get information for that. So I wouldn't be so much worried about that part right now. So just stay tuned with more information on the web, and follow your emails, and I'm sure that you are going to find useful information. Does the university help students? Yes, absolutely. I've already answered that. I'm from Germany and about to move to Jönköping soon. I'm really interested in this program and want to join. Which are my first steps to apply as German? Is there a max for age?
um, I know. I think that no, there's no max for age.
Yeah.
Of course not. You're welcome. But I think the steps for actually applying is better answered
Yeah,
soon.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward. We are open for admissions right now. You need to apply online. You need to upload all of your documents. So send me an email, and I can also send you a link to how to make the application tutorial. So you can watch that video, and you can also make the application by watching that video. About Adobe, will Photoshop Visual Design certification allow some functional classes to be skipped?
Unfortunately not, since we give out academic credits. There's a lot of both private operated educations and so on that I mean we can accredit those. However, it will probably the first courses will probably be very easy for you. So, but so you can focus on learning new things instead. But no, no, you can't.
Does the program allow students to focus more on design over coding, or is there an equal emphasis on both?
It's an equal emphasis on both, and I think that's quite important to underline because some students who have a very strong interest in graphic design and aesthetics can sometimes struggle with the coding. So it's you have to be prepared for both. You cannot really it's not two paths. Our unique selling point is the mix.
At what hours do the lessons usually begin, and how are they conducted? The professor just explains, or is it more learn by doing?
They start very early in the morning. No, but 8:15 is the first s slot we have, and then you can be scheduled within like 2 hour segments up to five in the evening, but 8:15 is the earliest one. Um, Usually there's a couple of more theoretical um, lectures in every course. So I would say roughly four lectures every week that are more you listen to theories and insights and so on. Um, and but then there's a lot of learning by doing as well, besides that. So it's a mix, I would say.
Is this course suitable for a beginner, or you have to have a base before you join in?
It's definitely suitable for beginners. That's how the program is designed. And those who have a little bit of experience, they would just have to endure the first year, a little, or first half, first semester at least. Yeah.
Someone is asking about if I'm on the reserve list, do I somehow reconnect with the admissions? Which yes, absolutely. Please send them an email and ask for more details, and I'm sure that they can help advise you what to do next. Are Linux laptops acceptable, or would one have to dual boot or switch to Windows?
You don't have to switch, but I think you have to dual both because I don't think Adobe provides their software for Linux. But that would be why you would have to have a dual booth for Windows. The coding you could probably do in a Linux environment without any problem.
Is it possible to work while studying? Yes, you're allowed to work by law. You can do that. And Martin, but do you know if any of our students work at the department with any kind of projects or helping with the teaching assistants or anything like that?
Yes, if you are good, especially in the coding courses, we are always keeping an eye on the students for those who can also be teaching assistants, especially in the coding courses. So that is quite possible if you're good at it. Um, and then, I mean, how much you can work on the side, it's basically up to you. If you, how much time and energy you have.
Yeah.
Uh,
Someone is asking how long does it take for to get admitted? I would say that if you send in an application to JU directly, then in 3 to 4 weeks of time, hopefully you will have an answer with yourself. When does the program start? Well, it starts at the 1st of September. 2025. So that is when it will begin, and a week before that we'll have the orientation week. So you will actually be able to arrive on campus on 25th or before that, and that 1 week would be more mingling and more intro sessions all around. Can someone get scholarship for yes, absolutely. You're allowed. We do provide 30% scholarship based on your motivation letter, your recommendation letters, your high school GPA. And once you make this application, then the committee looks into your application and then they decide if you will be awarded scholarship or not. How expensive are the registrations? Well, it costs only, say, about $85 for making an application, and which is non-refundable. And after you have made the application, it will be reviewed, and if you're given admission, then you will have 4 to 5 or 6 weeks approximately to pay for your tuition fee if you're allowed, if you're supposed to pay for that. Does the program contain internship? Yes, I think Martin has already mentioned, but I can also, maybe you can also give a comment around this, Martin.
On accommodation.
No, internship. Does the program
Inter
contain? Yes.
yeah, yes. Uh, one thing that it could be good to know for students that one part of the internship course is that you find your own internship. So we don't necessarily find internships to everyone. We have contacts and we try to help out as good as we can. But that's also a little bit to prepare you for seeking out positions and so on. And our students usually find internships. That's
You mentioned about students becoming content creators. Does that mean they will be studying video production and video editing with programs like Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro?
We have one course that is called content creation, or creation and portfolio, where we do work with Premiere a little bit. I, but I can, to be fully transparent, video production is one of those areas where we just dip our toes a little bit. We teach the 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 basics, the things you need to be able to sort of, but you wouldn't be experts in it. Uh, we go into motion graphics quite fast. So that means the kind of a graphic design that you would put as an overlay on videos or animated logos and stuff like that. That's we do more of that. But with that said, most of our students are they do a lot on their own as well. But especially in that course, yes, we do some Premiere Pro, but I wouldn't say that that's a key thing in the rest of the program. I think that particular.
And someone is asking, are the internships paid?
No, they're not. They're not. It's considered an ordinary course, so they are not paid.
And when signing up through Sweden admissions portal, when will they be informed? Well, if you have applied through university admissions, that's what you mean, I guess. Then you'll have to wait for their timeline, and which is usually by the end of March and the beginning of April. So follow the timelines given to you through that platform. Does the university help students with accommodation? Yes, we have already answered. We have also answered for the scholarships. So I'll skip this question. Mm, is it possible to do this program without any history of studying IT, coding, computer science in high school?
Yes, very much so. Just be prepared that there is coding. So, but we start from scratch, so you don't have to have any previous knowledge.
What programs, apps, software do you usually use, like Photoshop, Python, Unity? Are they given free for students?
Yeah, we use the whole Adobe suite, and that is given free to students. So that means Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, After Effects, Premiere Pro, and all of those. For the software or for the web development, you don't really need much software, to be honest. You need to be able to write code somewhere and a web browser. But a lot of students, of course, use tools as well. Um, So you get Figma. We use Figma, the software Figma
Yeah,
a lot as well, but that is free. Uh, you don't have to pay for that, but some students pay to have a little bit better access.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Martin. I
Yeah.
think we are done for today's questions, and thank you
Yeah.
everyone for joining in today. It was such an insightful session, and remember that we have recorded this session, and I will be sending the copy of this feed later next week once it's done and compiled. So stay tuned with us, and also stay tuned with more webinars coming up on scholarship and how to make the application for accommodation. And we also have a pathway school, which means that if you do not fulfill the requirement for English specifically, then you can also come here to study English first and then join your bachelor's in graphic design and web development or any other program we have at Jönköping University. Thank you very much, everyone. I wish you all the best. Bye bye.